Okay, this is my cooler, just a basic Rubbermaid or Igloo cooler. Got to have a little valve or a little spout to drain. It's just helpful. You don't have to drill through a cooler. I can still use this one when I'm not making beer. This is just the washer supply line, stainless steel off a washer supply line you get from Lowe's, Home Depot. Put a little zip tie on it. And this is just some stainless steel tighteners. I can't even remember what these fittings are called. Go to the plumbing supply area, get some connectors, run your vinyl hose through the drainage port in the cooler, and then put a valve on it. Got to have a one-way valve. Make sure it's on off. Otherwise, the water and wort will come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some grains in here. I'm going to do just an amber tonight, and then you add water and steep it for an hour. Go to the beer store and crack your grains. I've got 10 pounds of two-row, a pound of 60 malt, and then a pound of biscuit malt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the cooler, add hot water, about 170, 175 degree water, steep the grains for an hour, and then drain the unfermented beer out and boil it. Start my boil. Show you how to do this. Pretty straightforward, quick and easy. Wow, nice dust cloud from my grains. Anyway, so this is about 12 pounds of malt. Should make about a 6 or 7% beer. And then I'm going to go get the hot water and add that. Here's a picture. We're going to be doing a double batch tonight. Just get 2 burners going, and that way, since I'm already doing a batch, get a better value use of my time, so to speak. Okie dokie. Okay, there's your mash. I put the hot water in on top of the grains. Got to get a little plastic spoon like this from the beer store. Very handy and useful. Easy to sanitize. And mix it up. Give it a little stir. So, with the air temp and the temperature of the cooler, since it's pretty cool outside, it's probably around 165 to 170. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'd say about 163. All right. We'll show you the next step in a minute. I'm going to top this off. Giddy up. All right. Little temperature reading here. I did add some hot water. Okay, we'll call it 165. That's a good mash temp. All right, that's okay. We got 2 burners. We're going to strike one, get one going, and then we'll get the other one going when we add the second round of malt. That's you lit. Okay, there we got the grains all steeped. Turn the valve. Drain the unfermented beer, also known as wort, off the grains. Fill it up, put it on the heat, start your boil. Piece of cake. Okay, as you can see, as you drain the grains, or drain the wort off the grains, you're going to need more hot water. So as you drain off, fill it back up, because you're going to drain or run probably, I'll probably run 10 10 gallons of water per batch, maybe 9, through the grains to do a reduction and make the beer. So I have a pot of hot water sitting by. Okay, so now you see the whole process. You got your strike water right here in my cooler. Change it from the heating vessel to the cooler. Fill up the mash, draining off the wet. Drain that off and put it over here into the brew kettle where you get her going. And get that to a low boil and do a reduction overnight. So we got the heating, draining the wort, and your strike water right here. Okay, I just poured, you can see, number 2 batch in there. This is the grains. Just put them on top. There's still a little bit of water left in the other one. Number 2 batch. So let's see. I'll mix this up and let this steep for another hour, and then I will drain this off and start my second batch of beer. We're going to need to add some water to it. Really thick, almost like oatmeal, but it may have a little bit of higher percentage of alcohol than the first batch, just because I added the second thing of grains onto it, but it should be about the same, roughly. All right, here we go. We got the second batch rolling. We'll drain it off the wort into the bucket. Got that one low boil. We're raising the temperature on this one. We'll fill her up as the wort drains off the grains. Okay, it's almost midnight, and I have 2 kettles. I just added some wort to it, so it's not quite doing a low boil, but it's really close. I have that one over there. This one, both the flames are going. I'm just going to let these boil, low boil, all evening. I'll get up 5 or 6 o'clock. It will reduce maybe down to about right there, a couple gallons. Reduce down. I'll add more wort. Let it boil off in the morning. Add the hops and let it do its thing. That way I don't have to babysit it. We'll be ready to roll, and we'll show you the next step. Alright, it's been running all night. Nice, easy, slow boil. I'm going to drain off some more wort, and we're going to add the hops. I have a pound and a half, or I'm sorry, ounce and a half of Cascade hops. As you can see, these are pelletized hops. Just pour them in. And we'll stir that up a little bit. You can see the hops definitely getting mixed in there. When you are just about close to your last hour of your boil, you might want to add some Warflock tablets. It's basically seaweed or Irish moss, also seaweed, processed seaweed. For some reason, that clarifies the beer. It's a clarifying agent. So I get this little thing of them. There's, I don't know, 10, 20. Anyway, you just put one. I'll show you how this works. Just put one in there. There it is, right there, bubbling. Actually, it's right there. Put this one in. Bloop. It bubbles up a little bit. Not a big deal. Maybe give it a little stir, but for some reason, that helps with the clarity of the beer. when you're cooling it down. So we got a pretty good boil going, and that will dissolve the Warflock tablet. There it is right there. Get that in the solution, and it helps clarify your beer after the fermentation is done. All right? Okay, next, you get one of these buckets from Walmart or Lowe's or wherever. I drill a hole in mine that drains the water out, and you just keep replenishing the ice. And you want to cool the boiling whatever it is, down to around 70, 75 degrees. Don't want to be much warmer than 75 because it'll kill your yeast. But you cool the unfermented beer down, put the yeast in. We'll do that here in a little bit. And then the yeast will eat the sugar and give off carbon dioxide and make the alcohol in the beerski. I highly recommend getting one of these little handy dandy thermometers right there. It works pretty well. You just put it in, it'll give you a reading of where you're at and tell you how hot or cold it is. And you can manage how long you got to go in the ice bucket to cool it down. There's other ways to chill the wort down, but this is the way I do it. Hopefully you can see that. So it was at around, 200 degrees. Now we're down to 120. So cooling down fairly quickly. Okay, what we're doing here is we're
really distracting.
gonna aerate the worts. Remember that time, Shane, I left the valve open? Yeah, very important point. This little valve right here. Make sure that's closed. Don't start filling up the brew bucket when it's open. Very, very bad. Yeah! Skip. Gets it all nice and foamy and oxygenated and rising. Makes it good. Whoa. A lot of fun. About to go over. Okay, we have transferred the beer from that pot to the brew bucket, and what you want to do is you want to aerate it, so you want to pour it back and forth 2 or 3 times. Then next we add, so here's our yeast packet. We are using White Labs homebrew liquid yeast, just your basic California ale yeast. And what you want to do is you want to shake it real good. Shake it up, get it all dissolved. It's been out of the fridge, so it's room temperature, around 70 degrees or so. And then we're going to pour it in. So, put this right here. Wow, look at that. Look at all the yeast bubbles. Woo! That's some good yeasties. So, now you do that. Then you come over here. A little chunky but funky. There you go. Put all your yeast babies in there. I use a little bit of tap water. Rightly or wrongly. I've never had a problem with it. I'm just going to get all the yeast out of there and into here. Okay, done. Okay, what we're going to do now added the yeast. We're going to run the vinyl tubing through the top, like so. Just a little bit sticking out, nice and snug in there. I heat it up with hot water. And then you put it on. That's how we create the airlock. And you should feel some pressure. Yep. So we got good seal on it. Now we gotta go create the airlock. Show you how to do that. Got the brew bucket in the closet. This is how I create my airlock. Got a little Coleman Personal Late cooler. Filled it with about 1 inch of water. Got a nice little brick. Put a brick in there. No problem. What I'll do is I'll run the hose underneath the brick and then do what's called burping it, making sure all the air pressure is out of the hose, pushes out a little bit of air. That way no bacteria-ridden air in the house or a closet can get inside. What's going to happen is the yeast is going to eat the sugars and give off plenty of carbon dioxide. I'll show you in a day or two when it's bubbling. So it'll constantly be off-gassing, if you will. It's kind of like some internal barotrauma for the beer. All right, there you have it. Okay, got the tube right there. We're going to press down and burp it. Good to go. Now in a day or two it'll do its thing. And that's how you make beer.